Reddit, how do you subtly mess with people? I look over people's shoulders when they're unlocking their phone so I can see their 4-digit code. Then I pretend I'm making a phone call and very loudly use their number in my fake conversation. Yeah, the address is 8319 Main Street. It's so much fun to see their necks snap back with this WTF look, and then watch them mentally process the depth of such a remarkable coincidence. It's even more fun to do it with people you know and don't really like. At parties, I like to introduce myself as my boyfriend's sister and then kiss him in front of whoever I introduced myself to. It has to be a peck on the lips, but drawn out just enough to gross them out. It's become a really awful inside joke. He's a good sport about it, though. Once he wrapped his arms around me as I was talking to one of his ex-coworkers and whispered, "Did you text Mom?" My wife used to play a couple of computer puzzle games, win 95 vintage, and was quite proud of beating my high scores. What she didn't realize was the high score table was a plain text file in the directory, so every time she beat my score, I edited the file to put myself on top again. She would play for days trying to top me, lol. I don't think I ever told her directly, and frankly, I ain't gonna mention it now, but I screwed up editing the table once by not moving down all the scores and she noticed the anomaly and got suspicious. I've been slowly increasing the mouse sensitivity on both of my roommates' computers. In 2 weeks, I'm going to put them back to the default and pretend like mine is slow too. I'm interested to see the conclusion that they will come to. When someone is a close talker, I like to take small steps backwards to see how far across the room I can get them to walk. Calmness. I work with the public. Dramatic and entitled adults hate a soothing voice and a slow condescending head nod. I'm not a jerk, but when people are unreasonable, I absolutely refuse to argue. This approach will get under people's skin 10 times out of 10. I asked a guy at work if he'd ever got that creepy déjà vu feeling. A week later, I did it again. It was years ago when I was a bartender at a big sports bar, open till 3 a.m. I worked the bar in the back, which would close earlier, around 2:30, and, let's say Chris worked in the kitchen, which would close even earlier. At the end of the night, I would go to the main bar, in time for last call, for a beer, before leaving for the 4 a.m. bar to unwind, and Chris would be at the bar playing the bar-top touchscreen game. He'd go through a rotation of different games, and I'd sit nearby with my beer. That's when I said, "Hey, Chris, you ever get that creepy déjà vu feeling?" He said, "Yeah, sometimes." It was a Saturday night/Sunday morning when I said it, and it was a Saturday night/Sunday morning when I said it again. During the same game. His finger fell an inch short of the screen on his next move because his eyes had unfocused. I think he blew a fuse. And, yes, I was wearing the same outfit when I said it, we were all dressed in uniform. Say no pun intended occasionally after saying something normal in conversation. Most people don't want to look stupid and will laugh awkwardly while trying to figure out what the pun was. When someone I don't like is being sexist/racist/gossiping, I just pretend not to understand what they mean, and keep asking questions and making them explain what they're saying, until they get so uncomfortable they have to stop. Wide eyes and an innocent look help here. At my school, you have to log in to use the computers. Sometimes on the computers next to me I put a space where the username goes and then press the left key so it looks like there is nothing there. When anyone tries to log in, it doesn't work because there is a space after their username. They never notice and assume the computer is broken. Yes, I get satisfaction out of watching people struggle. I like to walk at the same speed as total strangers. One time in college, I was walking home across campus after a night of drinking. This guy walking behind me eventually caught up to me and started to pass, but instead of letting him pass me, I sped up to keep pace. We walked next to each other without saying a word for the next 2 minutes. He then started slowing down, so I started slowing down. Then he sped up. So I sped up. Then he finally turns to me and says, "Are you messing with me?" I burst out laughing and said yes and let him walk the rest of the way home without me. When you're talking to someone, instead of looking at their face, look at their ear. I place random things on the table when my friend is over, knowing that he's gonna pick them up and play with them. Then I think to myself, yes, dance monkey, dance. I work at Starbucks and get stuck in the drive-thru answering a lot. I like to see how many times I can fit yummy into a conversation. My most is 6. I can tell when someone needs to merge into my lane. I'll intentionally not let them over until they turn on their blinker. I'm trying to Pavlov's dog everyone, one driver at a time. If someone is moving slow in the fast lane, I'll try to get in front of them and move 10 miles per hour slower than what they are moving. They'll eventually move to the right and I can be on my way. Everyone behind them now doesn't have to pass them on the right. Sweet, sweet payoff. If someone is tailing me, instead of slowing down, or similar, I throw my windshield wipers on. The windshield wiper fluid hits their window, making them have to turn their wipers on. It only takes 2 or 3 until they back off. Of course, this is when tailing happens in a slow lane. My coworker has one of those framed postcard-size motivational posters on his desk. I photocopied it one weekend while catching up on extra paperwork. I then photoshopped SpongeBob surfing into the background. Days went by and he never noticed, so I changed the quote as well. Still didn't notice. Now I add one new thing each week. Everyone in the office knows and they all chuckle when near his desk. Visitors give him odd looks, but he's so freaking oblivious. I can't wait to see how long I can stretch this out. Get a roommate/girlfriend/boyfriend/wife/husband. When negotiating housework, make sure you get the dishwasher responsibilities. Make sure your drawers are neatly and consistently organized. You want your spoons, knives, and forks well separated in well-defined areas. Every time you empty the dishwasher, your cutlery goes into the same partitions. Repeat for 2 to 25 years. One day, switch your forks and knives. When your roommate/girlfriend/boyfriend/wife/husband is nearer to the kitchen than you are and occupied with something else, casually ask for a fork. Wait for them to return with a knife because they grabbed into the wrong drawer partition while on autopilot after years and years of training. Act confused and say no, I asked for a fork. Watch as their sanity unravels. There's this guy who sits opposite me who is a salesman and a bit of a tough talker. Think of a mix of Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad and Dwight Schrute from The Office, toned down a bit. One day, after a great series of sales, he notices that whenever he makes a sale, this 50-cent coin he has on his desk is standing on its side. Australian 50-cent coins have 12 flat sides. Whenever he loses a sale, the coin is sitting face down. This becomes his lucky coin and he is very protective of it. It must be standing on its side at all times. For whatever reason, I decide to subtly fuck with his coin. Every day for about 3 weeks I get to work early and add another identical 50c coin to his desk, right next to his lucky coin. I get to about 15 coins all up. What made this funny for me is that he just had no way of dealing with it. This big tough guy would come in every day and see this small army of coins standing to attention on the side of his desk. He would stare at them perplexed for a few moments, not knowing what to do. He wouldn't ever talk about it and just go to work awkwardly surrounded by coins. I don't know why, but I found this really funny. Eventually I got bored, so started adding googly eyes to them and making them into little tableaus. Not super subtle, but a guy told me I looked really familiar and asked if we met before. Hey, you look familiar, have we met or something? Nope. Weird, you look really familiar. Odd, do you watch a lot of porn? The look on his face was fucking priceless. I like to think that now whenever he watches porn, he is looking for me. To make it funnier, I'm a dude. I used to work in a pub that also had a drive-through bottle shop. I had to deal with a lot of rude customers. They would try rush me, have no manners and complain about the price, you know, the standard shit. Stupid shit like, why is this 6-pack $18 when it's $17 at Dan Murphy's? If you want to save $1 fucking dollar, drive to Dan Murphy's, don't yell at me instead. Needless to say, I would take my revenge when working in the bottle shop. Our bottle shop was set up so only employees could go into the cool room and grab the drinks. If you were being rude to me, whilst in the cool room, I would shake the absolute fuck out of your drinks. I'd even open cases of beer, take out the 6-packs, and shake the shit out of them. Proceed to sticky tape the case together, and here you go, sir. The best was when the desperado regulars would come in, grab a few long necks / cans, and open them immediately, necking them while they sat in their car. These guys are easy to pick coming and always order the same shit. If you'd been rude to me previously, and I was working a shift when I knew you were coming in at 5 p.m. on the dot and ordering 3 cans of Jim Beam, I made sure those Jimmy cans had been processed through my paint shaker hands 5 minutes prior. I miss seeing the panic of these guys when their drink explodes on them in the car. Kind of makes me want to get back into bar work.